this is not the first time that I've seen Pokemon the first movie, but it's been a while, and I didn't expect to remember as much of this as I did, and I will expand on that in a moment. This is an animated feature film from 1998. It's directed by Kunihiko Yuyama and written by Takeshi Shudo. I apologise if I've mispronounced any of those names. We have an English voice cast including Veronica Taylor, Rachael, Lillis, Eric Stuart, and various others. And I do remember watching this as a child. I don't know if I watched it in 1998. I would have been 6, depending on when it was released. July, yes, I would have been 6. And I remember not liking it very much. I think it was just not the right kind of film for me. I collected Pokemon cards casually as a child, and I had a Pokedex that I never learned how to use. So I was a casual Pokemon fan, but for whatever reason, I didn't really care for the film, and that's why it took me a long time to actually get into Pokemon animations, and I remembered that I'd not rewatched this in a long time. And I'm pleased to say that I rather enjoyed this, and there were bits of it that actually did come back to me, so it's possible I saw it more than once as a child, but I definitely don't remember loving it. It wasn't very nostalgic in that sense, apart from Pikachu. Pikachu in this felt so nostalgic. The story, of course, focuses on characters such as Ash. Ash and the other trainers are going to an island to battle, and Mewtwo is causing quite a lot of chaos. Just how many problems can Mewtwo cause? It is so fun as a story. I love the character of Mewtwo. Such a well-written character, such a fun character, and there are so many Pokemon in this. And what I really love about watching this now is that I played Pokemon Go for years, obsessed with it up until about... well, honestly, I was obsessed with it until I moved house a few years ago and I didn't live anywhere near a Pokemon stop, never mind a Pokemon gym, and I kind of stopped playing it. I had most of the Pokemon that were available at the time, and now I see them coming to life. I've seen other Pokemon films over the years, but there are some here that were just so fabulous to see, and the characters are so fun. The creativity in these characters, the creations of the characters, the animations of them, the noises they make, it's such a joy to see. So the overarching narrative is great. Mewtwo is a brilliant character, and seeing all of the other Pokemon, I just had so much fun. The narrative works really well. I think the second half of the film is a lot more exciting. I think things really get underway by the second half. It's so much more engaging. But what is interesting about this is that it's not the pacing of the narrative, but everything in this is very, very slow. The speech of the characters is incredibly slow. And even the camera panning, as it were, it's an animation, but you imagine the camera panning, even that movement is incredibly slow. Even when there's a lot of action on screen, the animation, the movements, it's all really slow. And it's a very bizarre experience. And I don't know if this was maybe a decision to make it easier for young children to keep up with, because it is quite not necessarily a complex narrative, but if this is your introduction to Pokemon, that's a lot. There's a lot to discover, a lot of characters to discover, a lot to begin to understand with just what the whole concept is. I don't know if maybe that was the decision to just slow everything down while still technically having a pretty decent pace for the narrative itself. Maybe I'm just finding reasons when there isn't any, but I just thought that was quite bizarre that everything moved really slowly. But the narrative itself was actually not badly paced. The characters are great, they're well written, so exciting to see so many of them come to life for me for the first time. Well, for the first time since playing Pokemon Go, including my favourite, Meowth. Meowth has been my favourite since I was tiny. I did have a soft toy of Meowth. I think my only Pokemon soft toy as a child was a Meowth, I think. And I don't know if it was an official Meowth or an off-brand Meowth. But either way, I loved seeing Meowth and just so many adorable characters. The noises they make, the designs of them, the colour palette in the film is brilliant. The animation is just so fun and so wonderful to look at. The music is really great as well. And if you're brand new to Pokemon, I say this as a casual Pokemon fan, I'd say it's a good place to start. If you're a big Pokemon fan and you've seen a lot, if you have any better recommendations for an introduction, by all means let me know. But given the pacing of the actual narrative being good and engaging while everything else just seems to move slowly, I'd say it's a pretty easy enough way to kind of get to grips with the basics and also exploring a lot of characters and a lot of fun Pokemon, and the human characters are great as well. It's a decent film. I didn't remember all of it, but as I said, there were a few bits that seemed familiar from my childhood, even though I remember watching this and not really engaging with it very much as a child. Watching it now, though, really great fun. Pokemon the first movie is quite a joy, and certainly one that I'm happy to recommend.